Hello everyone, and welcome back to WolfQuest, and we are here in Amethyst Mountain with Shaster, the son of Katari and Tarrell, who we are currently following for his, as he finds a mate here in Amethyst Mountain, and then through his first litter, because we are waiting on the voting for an heir to complete. Now, we did run a poll over the weekend to vote for the heir, however, up until the very last minute, we actually had a tie, and we had votes coming in within the last few minutes, so I've decided I wanted to leave the polls open a little bit longer. So the polls will be open all this week. You can go and vote. I have narrowed down the options because there were some wolves who weren't getting any votes, and some, like Shaster here, who got a few, but probably not enough to allow them to catch up to the top ranked wolves. So I have just the top 5 ranked wolves from the previous poll that are available for voting now. So if you haven't already, make sure you go vote in the new poll. It is a different one than the one that ran over the weekend, and the link will be in the video description. But while we're waiting for the results of that poll to come in, we are actually going to follow Shaster. Now, Shaster's challenge is that he must always play at night, which you can see it is night, and his ability is that he can play one difficulty easier, and there's no criteria for that. I went back and I checked. There isn't anything special he has to accomplish before he's allowed to play one difficulty easier. And he has been running around trying to find a mate, even though he does tend to be a fairly reclusive wolf who doesn't like to have that much company. He does like he does realize that he's not going to be able to make it on his own probably, and he does realize that he should go find a mate, even though he's not the most social wolf. And he did go to all the different territories, but here's a coyote. But he decided that the territory on Amethyst Mountain, which is near where we just were and where we're gonna head back to after we go and eat at this carcass, and he decided that that territory has the least hostile wolves. The other 2 territories, he immediately encountered a wolf that was very, very hostile and that did quite a bit of damage when they fought. So, but at this territory, he's run into a few wolves that were a little bit more submissive. So he's going to be heading up back to Amethyst Mountain and looking for a mate. And remember, some of our side story wolves, which we are, or not side story, but community event puppies, that we are saying are not actually related to the wolves in the community event, but are puppies that they found and raised together as their own, which isn't necessarily the most realistic thing, but we are taking some creative liberties with this. So even though real wolves don't necessarily raise unrelated puppies, for the sake of the story, we can add in a little bit of that. And here's a scent trail. So, but remember, if we run into, with Shaster here, if we run into a gray female or a white female and choose it as our mate, choose her as our mate, we might, we may be able to say that is either Sonia, the white pup, or Aspen, the gray pup from the most recent community event. And who is this? This is actually a dispersal female. Oh my goodness, it kind of looks like Katari without the radio collar. It kind of does. Actually, that looks exactly like Katari. I don't know, that might weird Shaster out a little bit. I think he'd be a little bit concerned that he might be related to this wolf, that this might be like his long lost aunt or something, because that wolf looks exactly like his mom. Oh my goodness. I think he would be friendly. He might try to play with her. I don't think she liked that too much. I think he'd be a little bit weirded out because I don't know. So that was a dispersal female, but that looked exactly like his mom. Oh man, I don't know. I just think Shaster might be a little bit freaked out by that and wonder if it's a long lost aunt or relative of his and be like, nope. Oh, Shaster. Because he's already kind of an insecure, antisocial wolf. He doesn't really like a lot of... he doesn't like to be around a lot of other wolves. He tends to prefer being by himself, and so for him to actually seek a mate in any case is a rather large step for him, as it is for any wolf, but especially for Shaster being the more antisocial wolf that he is. So I don't think he would want. I think that was just a little bit too awkward for him. But I think he'd go back and keep looking around, see who else he can find, keep following the scents, and see if he can find any other wolves. And from then on, we'll be headed to the creek to choose, or to raise puppies. And from then, we will hopefully have an heir by the end of this week. If not, that's okay. We'll follow another wolf on a side story for another week. We have another tiebreaker, and we have a specimen male here, which is a male from the pack that lives up here. But this guy tends to be pretty submissive, and Shaster knows that. Shaster has met this wolf several times and knows he tends to back off right away. So he's not overly aggressive. He just kind of chases him off and says, "Go away, leave me alone," basically. So, but this wolf has no problem with that and tends to run off quite quickly. Probably one of the more submissive wolves of the pack, it would seem. Now, Shaster has run into possibly one of the more dominant males. Oh my gosh, that carcass is not empty. That carcass is not abandoned. I think Shaster would go after this bear because food is food, and if he can get a couple bites in and get the bear to run off, then oh my gosh, Shaster. Oh my gosh. That bear was kind of pushing him around. Wait. So that's Coyote. Oops, I didn't want to bring emotes up. There's a coyote running around here somewhere. I think it left though. It looks like it just disappeared. So, definitely not a mate. Not even another wolf. So I think Shaster would probably kind of wander off. Is that the bear running down there? No. It's just an old log. I think Shaster would kind of run off and explore around a little bit more, just to kind of see what he can see. And we do have to leave the territory in between each time or the wolves won't respond, so it's kind of a little bit annoying, but and there are the territory markers again. So Shaster is going to keep looking, hopefully for a wolf that does not look exactly like his mother. Not a long-lost aunt. That could have been. I don't know. Who do you guys think that was? Was that a long-lost relative of his, or was that just some strange sort of coincidence? And who is this? Oh, it's a dispersal female. And it is gray. In fact, kind of looks like his dad a little bit, but much more brown. Tarrell did not have this much brown, and this wolf actually has a scar by her eye. You can see that. Especially, let me go into a head cam so you can see a little better. You can see she actually has a scar by her eye. That's kind of interesting. And she is gray. And if you'll remember, we said that we might encounter puppies from the side stories, or not the side stories, the community event, well, technically side stories, but community event stories. And the gray puppy, the gray female, there was also a gray male in that litter, was actually Aspen. So I wonder if this is Aspen. I wonder if this is how she looks. She was a very adventurous puppy who was always getting into trouble with Sage. And so her having a scar would kind of fit. You guys, this very well might be Aspen. In fact, I think we're going to say this is Aspen, the kind of live wire puppy from the most recent community event we had. So I think he would greet her. He's not quite so freaked out, because she doesn't look so much like perhaps a relative of his. She does kind of resemble his dad a little bit, but not too much. Tarrell had green eyes, I believe, too. I think he would go and he would sniff her and just kind of say hello. She seems like a fairly large wolf, perhaps, for a female, because usually the females are a little smaller. But then again, you know what? I guess Shaster is a little bit small than the typical male. So, I don't know. She maybe is kind of strong. I think he would say, let's play. and just see what she says. It's definitely very tentative. Now, that's kind of an interesting possible pairing because Aspen was like the hyperactive puppy and Shaster is much more reserved and kind of more solemn. So that could be kind of interesting if we had goofy, crazy Aspen. But you know what? I think he almost would kind of like that enthusiasm. It might, on the one hand, make him a little bit uneasy, but on the other, he might kind of enjoy it in his own little way. Yeah, I think we're gonna say this is Aspen, and I think these two are gonna head off to Slough Creek and have some puppies, raise some puppies, and we'll see. Now, Shaster does get to play on the pretty easy level because that is part of his ability, and there we go. So we are going to say this is Aspen, the puppy that Katari and Kaya found. Kaya or Kaya, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it, so I may be saying it wrong. But that they found and raised in the community event. And the one we kept getting I kept getting her mixed up with Shade and thinking she was a boy, but no, Aspen is indeed female. So she's sort of a grayish brown. She does have brown mixed in there. Which does kind of make sense because we had 2 gray puppies, a white puppy, and a brown puppy in that, and oh my goodness, look how fast she is. Oh my goodness. She is really fast. Yeah, that is Aspen for you. Aspen is like the crazy hyper one. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so that is Aspen, and you know what? Because this is Aspen, we may have a little bit of a surprise for when we go to Slough Creek. Now, how much experience do these guys have? I'm going to look at pack stats. So they have 1,300, almost 1,400. I think that's probably enough. We're going to send these guys off to Slough Creek, not linger around in Amethyst Mountain nearly as much. Oop, but that bunny will help. Not nearly as much as we did with Katari and Tarrell because we do have to hunt for the winter, and that is probably what we will be doing this time in Slough Creek. We'll be hunting, we'll be marking the territory. Now, I probably don't have to hunt quite as much because remember, they will have a pretty easy litter, and oh my gosh, she is so fast. Let me put names on. It always makes it easier to track everybody, especially once we have puppies. But she is so fast. Look at that. She keeps having to slow down and look over her shoulder to make sure we're still keeping up with her. Aw. So, we'll go ahead, and we may have another community event soon. It's not going to be today because it's already almost 5 o'clock for me, and like I said, that's about the cutoff of when I'll be able to start a community event. So, we're not going to do it today, not going to do it tomorrow, because tomorrow I actually start my college classes. Well, or there's just one at the time. I'm kind of sad one of my classes got canceled, but for right now there's only one. I may try and get in on another, but I do have a college class tomorrow, so we're not going to be doing community events on Wednesday evenings because I have to be at class, unless it's over break. I know I have a couple breaks, so we'll see. But for the most part, Wednesday evenings are not going to be community events, but we may have them. We may have one on Thursday, depending on how my day goes and how much time it takes me to record and such not. Also, we will not be having Wolf today because if you guys saw the last episode, you know something very drastic and dramatic happened. And so we still kind of are figuring out what exactly to do with that if we want to continue on. So we won't be having Wolf just for a little bit. There's Coyote, but we're going to leave it be because we are going to go to Slough Creek. Now, says Wolf's life is about one thing, passing on its genes to the next generation. All else, from hunting elk to defending a territory, drives towards this single goal. You and your mate survive the hazards of the wilderness long enough to meet each other, form a bond, and survive the winter. Now you can try to realize this goal. With pups of your own, you and your mate will become the breeding pair, formerly called alphas, of your pack. Their survival and the survival of your genetic code will be your responsibility. Even with all the dangers you have faced to reach this point, your real struggle has only just begun. So we are going to try to survive, and remember, we're going to keep it night even as we raise puppies, which could make it tricky because it makes it a lot harder to see things like the shadow of the eagle. So it could be quite dangerous. but we do get to play on the easiest difficulty. So we are going to go find a den. Now, Shaster didn't have a den restriction. He was also from the third litter, which was the Canyon Cliffs litter. But I think, because he was also there for the last litter, which didn't go all that well, we did lose 2 puppies. But he does know that den, and Aspen knows the den. So I think he would head back to the Aspen Heights den. Actually, that's how Aspen got her name, because it's the Aspen Heights den. So I think he would head back, kind of in her honor, toward... Did names get off? Names went off. Towards the Aspen Heights den and choose to raise his puppies there. Because that is what she is familiar with. So, and he's familiar with it as well. So it's something they both know. It's something they can bond over. Now, we're going to hunt some elk. We're going to make sure we do get to 2,000 experience points because that is how much we need to be able to name puppies. Oh my gosh. Is that a cougar? That's a cougar. That's a cougar. Okay. We're going to bite it. Oh, and it hit us. Remember when Tarrell chased the cougar away from Katari? Do you remember that? How dramatic that was? That was pretty crazy. We are going to chase this cougar off if we can. That should get it to run. Yep, it's running. Remember? Oh, yeah, Aspen also had a pretty scary experience with a cougar because if you remember, we had, and that was at this den. Hopefully this isn't the same cougar. The cougar that stalked them all the way from the den to the river. Do you guys remember how crazy that was? So I do have a feeling that both of these guys would kind of end up with grudges against cougars because I bet Aspen has told Shaster that story. So I think these two are both pretty leery of cougars. Especially at that den, because that cougar very well might live nearby. They don't really know where that cougar came from. They just know that it disappeared and they didn't actually see it again. And, oh, that's the wind direction. The wind is apparently overlaid with the den right now. I was like, what is that? But we are going to go ahead and choose the den up here. And from then on, we will go and do some hunting, and I don't know if we will have puppies this time or next time. It may be at the very end of this, because we probably don't have to hunt quite as much, but we do want to do some hunting towards the summer hunting grounds, so we probably won't have the puppies this time, because that does tend to take a little bit. Now, and the den should just be right, yep, there it is, I see it. Right over there. Now, this is also the farthest den, so it does make for the longest journey, but it is pretty far away from Stranger Wolf territory. And if you remember, Shaster's brother, Rowan, was attacked by Stranger Wolf, so I'm sure that played into the decision as well, because Stranger Wolves are bad news. So now we gotta mark our territory, but we're gonna disregard that for the time so that we can go and hunt some elk and make sure our puppies will have enough food. So we're gonna chase some of the elk just up to the den and try and get some pretty near the den. And then we are going to go over towards the summer hunting grounds and chase down some elk. Now, let's go ahead and find which ones are going to run. I'm not going to get kicked by the bull elk, because that is bad. That is very bad. How is this one? This one's pretty weak. We're going to chase her. Now, Shaster has a lot of speed, but not quite as much stamina. So we're going to give it a quick nip. And then I think Aspen should go after it. What is Aspen doing? Is she coming? Aspen? She's coming. Okay. I think she just got stuck or something. There we go. Let's try and chase it up this way. Oh, there she goes. She's going to go after it this time. Oh. It's coming downward too much. We want to try and chase it up. No, Aspen, you're chasing it the wrong way. Oh my goodness. I kind of feel like Aspen is the sort who might just talk like the whole time. Like in between bites, she's just completely talking Shaster's ear off, and Shaster's like, honey, we need to focus on hunting now. Because Aspen was the one who was constantly running away from the den and getting into all manner of trouble. So, and they got it. That's pretty close to the den. That's good. And it looks like Aspen is grabbing a bite to eat. Now we're going to go back and hunt some more. And just make sure we get these elk over, or up to the den. And then we do want to run over to the further hunting ground and chase down just a couple elk. It is a pretty easy difficulty, so the puppies don't get hungry nearly as fast as they do on the harder difficulties, but nevertheless, we want to make sure we have adequate food. Is it snowing? I think it's snowing. I think it's yep, it's starting to snow. Oh, what kicked you? Okay, we don't want to get kicked by the bull elk. There we go. We're going to go after this one, because this one is running. We'll probably chase down 2 or 3 of the elk. Oh, I didn't even bite it and she's targeting it. Oh, we don't want to kill it over here though. There we go. It's going to start running the right way, hopefully. Is it having trouble in the snow? It almost looks like it's having trouble in the snow, and that is the case. When it snows, if the snow gets deep, hooved animals do have a harder time in it because they tend to sink down into the snow. But wolves do really well in the snow because they have large feet that act like snowshoes. Just the structure of their paws basically acts like permanent snowshoes, so they can often walk on top of the snow without breaking through, which is a huge advantage because it takes so much more energy to try and crush your way through deep snow and to have to basically act like a snowplow. That's the other thing wolves do too. When they do have to, when they do break through the snow and have to travel in deep snow and can't just run on top of it, because, you know, sometimes they do end up breaking through, but in certain conditions they can walk on top of it. But when they're traveling, they'll have one wolf run out in front and act as a snowplow, kind of, and then whichever wolf is leading, the others will follow through the path that wolf has already made in order to conserve energy. And I'm not sure if they switch off for that or not, but I think I've heard some places that they do. That would be something to check on, though. Don't take my word for it, because I'm not 100% sure if wolves actually do trade off. But I do know that they tend to go single file in deep snow so that only one wolf has to expend the effort of clearing the trail. And that saves a lot of energy for the rest of the pack. So, the elk definitely do get slowed down a lot, and a lot of the other prey wolves will hunt. The hooved prey will get very bogged down in the snow. And we are pretty close. I just want to get a little closer. Aspen is kind of just running circles behind us because we're so close. There we go. She is going to help get this elk up towards the den. I think the den is up a little ways from here, though. Yeah, the den is up on this hill, or past this hill, I think. Is it? Yeah, there's another elk. So this will be a good carcass to have, because when we're starting the journey, we might be able to come down to this one. So I'm going to try now and hunt another one kind of a little ways out into the plain over here. And then, ooh, we do want to eat, though. I'm going to go back real fast and just get a little bit to eat because Shaster is kind of hungry. And then we will travel briefly to the other elk hunting ground and take out a few elk on the way to the summer hunting grounds. And then next episode, we will come back and we will see their puppies. So let's go ahead. Let's see. Let's kind of, well, it's a little bit lighter, get a better look at Aspen because it's not so dark when it's snowing. Yeah, she is. She's got a little brown, but she's mostly gray. She's quite a pretty wolf. She kind of looks like how some of Shaster's siblings, I think, look a little bit. I'm not 100% sure, though. I think there are some that have the gray with the brown, and all the elk are now going to stand their ground. So we're gonna, hopefully, yep, okay, and Aspen was able to get a couple bites in. Now we want to turn it around. I'm gonna actually stop her and howl so she'll stop, because we want to, hey, they have the same howl even. That's pretty cool. Oh, please don't go after it. We want to chase it downward, actually. We want to chase this elk down towards the plains. Oh. Aspen, careful, you're messing it up. And she's a little bit over eager. She's kind of just like, let's go get the elk. And Shaster's like, wait, we need to strategize. Oh, yeah, that's so Aspen. That is so Aspen. Kind of just bolting in and doing your thing. Let's try and get it a little bit further down. Oh, okay. No, it turned around. Oh, I guess we're just gonna kill it here then. Aspen, don't stand in front of the elk when it's kicking you. Oh gosh, that was partly my fault though, because I howled and I hadn't realized it had actually stopped already. So we do have this. Where is our other carcass? This is up too far. This will be one that we eat off of when we have puppies, and I think we may have lost our elk herd. We might need another elk herd. Now, the other thing is ravens don't show up at night, so that will be an advantage, but you do tend to get more cougars and stuff at night. But you also... I hear hunting music. Is the herd over here somewhere? You won't get the ravens in the sky to show you where... I guess a carcass spawned over there. That's going to be way too far to bring puppies, though. We're going to need one in the middle. Where is the elk herd? I think we're going to run out of the hunting grounds and then come back. And we may have to break off this hunt midway through and finish up the rest of the winter hunting in the next episode. So, we shall see. Let's see. Now we're outside of it now. So we're gonna head back in. And usually they spawn up in here somewhere. But I don't see... Oh, here's the scent trail. Alrighty. Now, it looks like they may be up towards the... They're up closer. Oh, there they are. Oops. Let's switch out of scent view. And we're going to try and spook some of them down into the plain. We killed this one a little bit too quickly, but it'll still be good if we need additional food while we're up at the den. So we're going to kind of come along this side and see if we can get any of these ones. Some of them are going to run. Okay, there we go. She is pretty weakened. How about this one? This one is pretty weakened. I think this one's more weakened, though. Alright, we're going to chase this one down this way. Shaster, you're so much faster than the elk. Oh, and Aspen's already on the hunt. Alrighty. I'm going to wait because I don't want to take it down too fast. We want to get out in the plain just a little ways and about probably... Oops. Ah. Alrighty. Now we'll start attacking. Oop, nope, but we don't want it to go up that way. We want it to turn back this way and come further out into the plains. I'm going to walk just a little bit because I need to regain some stamina. And then, hopefully, I'm going to howl because I don't want Aspen to completely wear it down right here. We want to kind of steer it a little bit back into line. And go ahead and attack here. Wow, that elk kind of turned pretty fast. Oh my goodness, there we go. These two are pretty good at hunting together. They honestly are. Oh, and we're full. That's right, we're not eating for puppies just yet. And then we're going to start heading over this way because we want to get to the next hunting ground because we have a carcass up here. We have a carcass right there. We have carcasses up there. And that should be an okay distance to travel with puppies on the pretty easy difficulty. So let's see. Is this the carcass, though, that the cougar spawned at? That may be. I think it might be. In which case, there's not going to be much food left. So, we probably should hunt one that's a little bit closer this way. We'll probably try and do that next episode. We're just going to get up here pretty much to the elk hunting ground. Now, we'll wait outside of it, so we're going to leave these two here for today. Don't forget to vote in the poll to see who will be the next heir. If you haven't done that already, there is a new poll as of Monday, so if you voted before that, please come vote again in the new poll. It is restricted down to just 5 options instead of all 13 or however many there were. I think it was 13. Yeah, it was 13. So It is just the top 5 options from the previous poll, and don't forget to vote in that. I will see you guys later, but until then, this is Jay, over and out. See you next time.